If I can be serious for a minute.
Hello and welcome back to Flashback Bump, where a man with a microphone talks about professional wrestling. In case you've not seen the show before, I, a relatively green pro wrestling fan, go back in time and talk about old broadcasts. Today's topic is WWE Smackdown from July 11th, 2002 at the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. A couple major points going on in this broadcast. It is the return of The Rock, which has been teased for several weeks. He has not shown up, I believe, since King of the Ring. Also, we're gearing up for WWE Vengeance 2002, so we're getting that card rolling, getting a couple matches confirmed. But we kick things off with a Tag Team Championship match. New champions Edge and Hulk Hogan face off against Billy and Chuck, who they defeated for the belts the previous week. Early on, Rico, Billy, and Chuck do a good job keeping Edge isolated and building the crowd's anticipation for Hogan's eventual entering of the match. Hogan pins Billy in just over 6 minutes after delivering the big boot and leg drop, and this match was about what I expected. Edge and Billy Gunn carry the load for their respective teams. Chuck Palumbo gives his typically competent but uninteresting performance, and Hogan mostly postures and counts the seconds until he can unleash his tired gimmick and get the 3 count. The live audiences seem to have cooled on Hogan recently. I'm not sure if it's a symptom of his recent move away from singles competition, but his entrances and in-ring shtick are getting a noticeably less fevered response the last week or two. Perhaps the 2002 audiences are finally over this nostalgia trip that I've been shitting on since WrestleMania. In any event, this opening match is the perfect length for me, with no noticeable in-ring miscommunications or flubs. 2 stars. Now we move to The Undertaker, who's spending the early part of this show lurking in a parking garage, waiting for The Rock to arrive. Taker is inexplicably determined to start a fight whenever the Brahma Bull rolls into the arena. There's no reason for this story-wise, but their title match at Vengeance is already booked, and obviously Rock has been off TV for so long that creating a fleshed-out angle between these two just isn't possible with only 10 days until Vengeance. This is obviously not ideal or normal for the WWE, but again, Stone Cold leaving the company created story issues, and I believe this is one of them. Next, we have a match for the women's title. Champion Molly Holly going up against Tori Wilson. Molly wins by pinfall in a mercifully brief match, getting the 3 count on Tori, courtesy of a very cool half surfboard leg lock pin. There isn't much chemistry to speak of between these two. They're working at different paces, and the considerable height difference makes their combat look a bit awkward. Tori's in-ring skills are not where they need to be to put on a believable match with Molly, and the crowd wasn't behind this one, despite Tori's teeny tiny jean shorts. 1 star. Next, we have a tag match. Reverend Devon and Batista versus Mark Henry and Randy Orton. I'm starting to feel bad for Randy Orton. I mean, look at John Cena, who came in and immediately got to work TV with Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, and The Undertaker, while Orton has found himself in a tag match purgatory with a seemingly random rotation of partners. Poor kid. It occurs to me during the entrances here that Devon is now playing second fiddle and possibly even managing Batista, which is a complete 180 from how this partnership began. I'm guessing this isn't what Devon had in mind for himself when the Dudley Boys split and he got a new gimmick as a singles performer. And speaking of Batista, he needs to start distinguishing himself in some way. WWE already has a young, bulky, strong man in Brock Lesnar. So what is Batista going to do to stand out? Well, putting Mark Henry on your back is certainly a grabber. I guess I spoke too soon. Another match highlight involves Randy Orton achieving some serious air with a top rope crossbody double team move. Big pop from the crowd for this, and I rewound it immediately myself. This kid's agility is fabulous. Batista pins Mark Henry after executing his signature spinebuster, which is currently the most vanilla finishing move in the whole WWE. A couple good pops in this match, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. 2 stars. Next, we have an in-ring promo with The Rock and Kurt Angle. Rock comes out to the ring to call out The Undertaker, but is greeted instead by Kurt Angle. Angle asserts that in The Rock's absence, SmackDown has become his show. and suggests a singles match between the two set for the following week. The Rock accepts, and the two begin to scrap just as The Undertaker appears and performs a chokeslam on each man. This promo is the first real heat created between these three performers in the lead up to their Vengeance title match. At least they're doing something. Moving on, we have a singles match, Test versus Rikishi, in the battle of guys that no one knows what to do with. Rikishi pins Test in under 2 minutes in a match booked solely to generate heat for the Un-Americans, an angle which I really like. I've gotta say, Rikishi is entering Hulk Hogan-like territory for me these days. He's got the same 2 or 3 in-ring gimmicks working in every match, and his limited arsenal of moves is making me yawn. He's clearly still over from his days with Too Cool, but I don't think creative knows what to do with him. This match gets a half star. Next, we have a cruiserweight tag match, Jamie Noble and Tajiri versus the Hurricane and Billy Kidman. This is about as good as a 3-minute match can get. It's fast-paced, with plenty of high spots, and great chemistry between all the performers. Their timing is superb, the reversals are crisp, everything is executed and sold very, very well. And yes, this is the exact same booking we got on the June 27th SmackDown, but none of these guys were on the card the previous week, and the audience probably needs a refresher on this Hurricane and Jamie Noble feud. Jamie Noble continues to impress me. He's a good worker, it seems, and Billy Kidman is just a big pop machine. I'm praying that creative puts a strap on him soon, or at the very least writes him a singles angle. Anyway, great match here. Cannot wait to see what these guys do next. 3.5 stars. And it is time for the main event. Another tag match, Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker and John Cena. Obviously, we've got a lineup of all-time greats here, and they do not disappoint. Undertaker performs with more energy and intensity than I've seen in months, really showing off his size and power against these smaller opponents. If Taker brought it like this every night, I'd have been enjoying his title reign quite a lot more. My only knock on this match is that John Cena's inexperience is showing a bit, and I'm talking about fundamental things. His punches are a little sloppy, there are a few maneuvers where he's not getting his body into good position for his opponents, and he's working too quickly at the beginning of the match. I'm guessing it's just nerves, because this is his first TV main event after all. Jericho and Kurt Angle work very well as a tag team, and execute a great double-team top rope dropkick on John Cena that got a big response from the crowd. Eventually, Cena gets a clean pin on Jericho to end the match in about 6.5 minutes. Pretty good stuff here. 3 stars. There's some excitement here after the bell, as The Rock runs in and gets into it with both Undertaker and Kurt Angle, which is simultaneously generating heat for the match at Vengeance, and for the following week's one-on-one with Kurt Angle, which I thought was highly efficient. I'm not always on board with these last-minute run-ins to end a broadcast, mostly because they have a tendency to become brainless melees with too many performers in the ring, but this thing with Rock is done well, and it reminds me of what got me into wrestling in the first place, which was the excitement of seeing Stone Cold run in before the end of a show and deliver a bunch of stunners to whomever was in his way. This had that kind of Attitude Era energy and fun to it, and I thought it was a great way to end the show. So to wrap things up, overall I enjoyed this show, mostly on the back of the final 2 matches, which I think are extremely solid. Undertaker's performance in the main event is getting me hyped for Vengeance, and that being the case, clearly this show has done its job. This edition of SmackDown earns 3 stars from me. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like and the subscribe if those are things you're into. I'll be back soon with another video, chronicling our path to Vengeance 2002.